Also, we discovered that it was someone with a addiction was actually the culprit in perpetrating the break-in today. And so we're going to talk about today, what do we do for persons like that? They find themselves in situations addicted by drugs, alcohol. What do we do? How do we treat them? And in a situation like what happened last week, how do we respond as persons of the Christian faith? Let's talk a little about youth and crime. How should we deal with that? So many young people today caught up in crime. How do we deal with it? Let's talk today about the murder, the fact that 50+% of those persons who were murdered were out on bail. Let's also talk about the fact that while the Minister of National Security and the Commissioner is of the view that persons who have murdered, or at least accused of murder, should not be on bail for their own safety, the Attorney General says that from a legal perspective, they ought to be entitled to bail. But folks, today I want to wish you a welcome. Dave Williams, host of the program Transforming Lives. We're on Global 99.5, Cable TV 974. We also on Facebook, on YouTube channel. My co-host Jackie Gardner is not here today, so I won't be able to monitor Facebook. And also the WhatsApp line 4336917. The call in 3260271. As usual, we have 3 of the McDonald's vouchers that we want to give away today. And so it's an opportunity to win them by calling us at 3260271 or 4336917. Dr. McMillan, I want to welcome you here as we always take the lead in what we call 5 minutes Moments with Christ. Go ahead, Dr. McMillan.
Good afternoon, Dave, and everybody else on the program. It's a privilege to speak in this moment, and I think it's very appropriate. Considering the list of things that you mentioned, I am pleased to say to all, using this example, there are some things that are common to all human beings. And I guess the best known of them all is that we all die one day. We do not live forever. And in between, there are many other similarities. Having mentioned that, I want to stress the importance of this moment, notwithstanding whatever subject may be presented in the hour that we're together. And it is this, that Jesus Christ, by faith, is the only entity, divine, spiritual entity, and also practical entity to assist any human being under any of the common situations that befall us all. What I'm trying to say is that Jesus Christ can be beneficial to any and every vicissitude of life, any challenge, any habit, or any vice that one is addicted to. But here's the point of Jesus. There is one area in which he is the only one that can have a meaning, and that's when it comes to eternity and death. Jesus Christ is the only entity available to any human being for things eternal, and it begins with having eternal life. And if anyone ever wonders why this minute is always here, it's because of that. Because whatever we may accomplish here, cause a person to overcome a habit, get rid of an addiction, have a success, overcome a challenge, the day will come when that person dies. And only Jesus has the promise of the resurrection. He says he is the resurrection. But the good news, for which I don't have time today to speak, is that when Jesus Christ is in place in a person's life, he also becomes the source of strength and comfort and well-being in facing any other challenge. And we can continue that section as we continue Sunday after Sunday. So then, whatever we may discuss about addiction or any problem, there are good practical advices. There are counsels and strategies, but they are temporal. They are earthly. But when it comes to Christ, he offers eternal life, forgiveness, power, plus the strength to overcome and fulfill anything that may be heard this afternoon. May each of us recognize the supremacy of Jesus and the value that he has to all human beings despite our situation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mark. I join you in echoing those sentiments that were shared. And so today we want to talk a little. Last week, for those of you are aware that there was a break-in that took place at the studios. And so we were not able to do the live broadcast. The information received that they called the gentleman. And of course, someone who appeared to be, seems to be, would have had an addiction. And so today's topic, we want to talk about that. How do we treat persons such as that? How do we deal with them? What do we do? Also, I saw where Pastor Williams also mentioned about youth and crime. So Pastor Williams, you still there? Unmute your mic and talk to us what you were sharing about youth and crime. What are your feelings?
Yes, good evening, everyone. Or good afternoon. When it comes to the whole aspect of youth and crime, one of the things we need to begin looking at is how can we lock the gate before the horse actually gets out? And when you think about that, we have a lot of our young men who are moving around, and many of them are looking for what I call a pack leader, someone who will, whom they can look up to, someone who can give them direction, someone who can tell them their purpose in life, how to live life as an individual. And this is something I think that if we can begin to get a hold of, it will help start. It will not complete it, but at least it will help start the whole process.
Right.
I told someone recently, I said, based on the age of their child, I said in the next, but 2 to 3 years, I said you could find him a pack leader, because for better or for worse, young men, boys in their early teens do not see women as that pack leader, the person who can guide and direct them in the way they ought to go. I've seen with at least one individual who gives the women in the family trouble, but still listens to me. And he doesn't live with me. And so because they need that male figure, that male authority in their life, you see it to some degree also when you look at the shock treatment that the government was doing.
Yes.
The same young men who would give their teachers, their mothers, their grandmothers, and everybody else, all the other females trouble, are now listening to maybe 2 defense force officers, maybe 3, have about 15 of them, and just doing whatever they're told because they needed that pack leader, they needed that discipline. And when we fail to do that with our young people, I think we have done them a disservice because they don't have the authority is missing in their life. That's what I'm trying to say. I'll use one example. When I was at H.O. Nash, the very year we went to C.C. Sweeting, that's the year government decided to move Mr. Howard Newbold to C.C. Sweeting. And man, the guys were upset because everybody respected / fed Howard Newbold. They knew the type person that he was. There was another administrator there whom they just didn't respect for whatever reason. Mr. Newbold would drive his car up till the last day of school. The other administrator had to walk the last week or so of school because he feared that they may have damaged his vehicle, but Mr. Newbold did not have that problem. And so person saw Mr. Newbold as an authority figure, someone who could put his foot down and whom you had to respect. And that is what a lot of the young men today need. And so you find that they join gangs because, again, they're looking for that authority, someone whom they can look up to. They're looking for someone whom they should respect, someone who's going to take the reins and say, look here, this is the way things go. And you fall in line. And they do it. I'll give you another one. While I pastored in Eleuthera some years ago, I remember the principal of the school in Bogue told me how she had sent some young men home for not cutting their hair. Their parents couldn't get them to do it. A certain individual in the community who is alleged to have some sort of criminal past found out what was going on, put them on the boat, took them over to Bryland, got their hair cut, put them back on the boat, took them to the school and told the principal, if you have any more problems out of them, call me. How is it that this individual, he could get these young men, take them to the barber, make them cut their hair, no relationship ties or anything, and they fell in line and their parents could not do it? That shows you they needed someone whom they could look up to, someone whom they respected. And that is something that I think a lot of young men today are doing. So they join these gangs where they have these hierarchical structures and they fall in line with it. So I would say to ladies who are here in particular, don't fall into that trap of, well, I ready to have a child. I don't need no man. No. Especially if it's a male child, you need someone whom that boy can look up to. And to the men who are listening, don't go all over the place having children with all these different women and then walking out because you're only creating problems for yourself maybe later on in life. Some of these children, especially the men, don't know who their father is. And so they grow up looking for that identity, that self-respect, and they create further mayhem. And so it's something we need to begin looking at in addition to what Dr. Macmillan said, in helping them to understand their relationship to Christ, that they are loved no matter what. And it's not your dingy, good for nothing with your picky head. No, they're a child of God and God still loves them no matter what. So we have to begin to have that conversation and find ways and means, even with churches, in doing stuff to encourage and to train, to discipline the young people, to get them on the right path.
Okay, thank you very much. We're talking about youth and crime, and so we want to have an open line. Bishop Brathwaite, I can call on you. We're talking about youth, we're talking about crime and the challenges. So Bishop Brathwaite, Raja, all of you on the line, I'm asking you to unmute your mic and share your view. So Bishop Brathwaite, what are you want to comment? Give me your comments on youth and crime.
Blessings. I was a youth full of crime, but just never got caught.
Okay,
but
not the bishop, not the senior bishop, Holy Dove.
Yeah, man, the senior bishop. What? From the age of 7. From the age of 7, I was heading straight through crime until I met Jesus. And now I can tell those who are out there on the blocks, who think crime is the thing, Jesus is the one who I found, and he found me in the midst of my crime situation. And I want to tell any young man out there who is into crime, it doesn't pay off. It doesn't pay off. It looks good. And you might make some money, but only 2 things can come out of crime: is death or prison, and prison again, or death. That's the answer for crime, no other way. But Jesus Christ will turn you around. You know, because Brother Dave, I was smoking dope from the age of 7.
Oh, wow, 7 years old.
When my braces dropped off the same age at 7. And that's when I got into crime in every way, shooting dice, going in the food store, taking up the food, putting it in your clothes, coming out. Had an opportunity to go to the boys' industrial school at that age as well. And so I want to let them know, I thank God that he touched me and turned me around from crime, because I probably would have been today dead or in prison waiting to go on the next hangman loose. I was so attached to crime that many folks don't know.
Yes.
That I had come so close to killing people, you know, and it was only a matter of God's grace. It was his grace that kept me away from killing people. I was so violent, even in school. My first day at Queens College, I was suspended for 2 weeks, the first day in school, because of a young man telling me niggas don't drink. A white man, right, young boy said, niggas don't drink from this pump. And I made him drink his own blood from the same pump that he tell me we don't drink from. You know, I from Harlem, I from McCray Street, where yes. Dr. Mark is from as well. But Dr. Mark didn't have this opportunity, but though he heard about all of us, but we were criminals in every way you can ask. Fellas like Richard Brooks and Poker and all those guys like Lil Rat and all them, they grew us up into crime. Shooting marbles was also a criminal. We never shot marbles just to shoot marbles. We shot marbles for money. We had our own casino going on, you know? And so we were doing crime from the early age. No gang, just criminals. You know, we'll go to school and lunch was nothing. We never had to pay for lunch because we had our own lunch line. I'll go to the front and we'll send the lunch back. By the time as I come out of the cafeteria, I'll have a box with chips, soda, hamburger, hot dog, chocolate, and I pay for one chocolate. And pay that at the front, at the cashier, and we'll come out and have a nice lunch. Glory be to God, but I thank God he turned me around, and he can turn every young criminal, every young man around once they give their life to Jesus. I'm telling you, that's my 5 cents, Brother Dave.
Thank you, Bishop. As we talk today, we talk about the youths, we talk about the crime. Anybody else? Raja, anybody else want to mute your mic and share their story about youths crime? Not necessarily your personal testimony if you don't want to, but you may want to share what you think are some of the alternatives, the solution as we talk about youth and crime. I'm going to allow others to unmute your mic and share your experience. What are the solutions you want to put forward?
Elder Dave.
Go ahead, yes, sir.
I'd like to come in after Bishop's testimony. And I think the order that we have come now, we had Pastor Williams, then we had Bishop, and now I am going to say something that puts the whole thing together. What Pastor Williams mentioned, especially with the case of the young man in Eleuthera, and how he got him to get his hair cut and so forth. What he is trying to say, not to the youth, he is trying to say to those of us who have youth under our care,
right.
Youth who are in our homes, in our neighborhood, and so forth, that somehow our influence has much to do with them. Okay. And I can tell you right now, Bishop may not know this, but I'll tell him so that he can maybe add this to his testimony. You all may not know, Bishop, my wife is the aunt of Bishop Brathwaite. In other words, Bishop Brathwaite's mother, my wife, has to call her Aunt Blonnie, a wonderful lady. Oh, you couldn't beat her. But here's the point I want to get to. When Bishop was young, his mother, Aunt Blonnie, used to bring him to my mother-in-law to be at her house while she went to work. Many times, Blonnie could not pick her up after work, so Bishop remained in my mother-in-law's house overnight. And many times, my mother-in-law took him to church with her. And I'm sure he saw and he felt all the spiritual stuff in that home that complemented what he was getting in his own, in Aunt Blonnie's home, and so forth. So that the point I want to make is that that foundation was there, that when he came to the crossroads, the bishop, to make that decision for Christ, as he tells the story, between drugs and between a violent life, that the seed and the atmosphere that was created by my mother-in-law, and I say the same thing about my girls. My girls spent many hours with my mother-in-law. It was there that certain principles were established in them. Right. And that's what Pastor Williams always comes with, saying to us that if we as adults or what have you, in dealing with youth from their childhood, if we ourselves can instill in them certain things that they can remember, we can call them seeds that can blossom somewhere along the line, then there's always hope when it comes to a decision time. And of course, Christ has the way of leading people so that they can make a decision that will change their lives for eternity. What's my point? I'm backing up Elder Williams, that we as adults, if we can do our part, our role in establishing in the hearts of young people certain principles, it will pay off. And Bishop Brathwaite is a perfect example.
Oh, thank you. So, right, because based on what I just heard, right, what you're saying is we must not take the attitude that I'm not my brother's keeper. You know, this ain't my son and my nephew. You know, that's my son. So that's what you're saying.
That's correct.
And we must start in our neighborhood, in our Jerusalem. We must start in our Jerusalem, because I still have the opportunities right now that when I come home, I still hang out with the boys and tell them about Jesus.
Amen.
As a matter of fact, the boys on Tudor's Corner and Saffron Street, they know what I stand for. One day they were cursing on a Sunday while the basketball court, and I took the basketball court down and tell them, look here, if you're going to curse, there's going to be no basketball around here. You know? And I go on and put the ladder there and knock the court down. And today, most of them, all they talk about, even the drug pushers around there, all they talk about is Jesus.
Right.
Not when they see me, but I could go to the tree now and they'll be under the tree talking about Jesus. Although they still pushing their drugs, because I told them I did all of that.
Oh, but the seed is there. The seed will be there. The seed will be there.
Right. The seed is there. The seed is there. As a matter of fact, one of the boys was in the one of the school, the Stapleton school, and he was caught having sex with the lady, with a young student in the bathroom, a young female student, and they kicked him out of school. I went to the school with him. And I say, give him a second chance, because I'm responsible for him. I'll be responsible for him. And he left the school as the head boy.
Yes.
And today he has represented the Bahamas in the special handicap Olympics and brought back a bronze.
Okay.
Look here, man. All it takes is for us to take the bull by the horn, and we can make a difference in this nation. You get one, I get one. And we'll make the difference.
It's powerful, man. That's powerful. Yeah, because we have to reach out. It's powerful. We have to reach out to the young men. You know, if you listen to the news lately, where the fact that the commissioner mentioned that over 50% of the persons that were murdered, including yesterday, there were 2 persons murdered. And he mentioned that there were persons out on bail. You know, it reminded me of something I shared with the guys at remand just Wednesday past, where I told them, I said, man, it's safer that you all stay here in jail because you didn't have about 30-something persons out of the 70+ murders, individuals who were on bail. And that's basically revenge killing. And so all of us must do our part first to present Christ and everything else, because, hey, we're losing too much of our young men. And by the way, the International Men's Day, for those of you listening, I want to say, we will be at Dumping Ground Corner Park. That's this coming Saturday, 6 p.m. So we're inviting all of you on the Zoom to be out. It's a time where we want to provide some pizza for the young men. Want to sit down, play some dominoes with them, some backgammon, some chess, and just mix and mingle with these young men. That's this Saturday coming, beginning at 6 p.m. at the basketball court and Dumping Ground. They just announced they put Wi-Fi there yesterday. And so we want to invite the young men out of the area to come up. We will have police protection if anybody feel afraid. There will be as a partnership with the community policing. And so we just want to sit down, play some dominoes, and just hang out with these same young men, interact with them. That's for this coming Saturday, 6 p.m., 433-6917. If you wish any further information, you can simply text me, WhatsApp me, call me at 433-6917 if you desire further information, or there are a group of young men you wish to come out and be a part of it, as we as men want to interact with our young men one-on-one, little dominoes, little backgammon, and we'll be providing the pizza and the drinks. But today, folks, until we recognize the situation we'll be faced with, us, those of you know, that's really my passion with the men. We talk about the young men and the challenges faced, and even the station itself had its own break-in just last week. And as a result of it, you were not on the air, and it is believed that the individual was someone who had faced an addiction, drugs. And let me say this to you also, in my interaction with persons at the Department of Corrections, a number of persons have admitted this to me. I can say this. They have said this to me. They committed their crimes while under the influence of drugs and alcohol. Now, I can't give a percentage, but quite a number of persons, and in particular, individuals who have committed what society would call heinous crimes. Crimes which, I don't know if you use the word shocked the nation, but they were front page of the newspaper. And quite a number of them admitted to me that these crimes were committed, in particular murder, while under the influence of drugs and addiction. But I don't want to dominate the conversation today. We're talking about the youth, we're talking about the crime. And so I just want to pause again and give an opportunity if there's anybody else on the Zoom who wish to come in and just share. I see a good friend of mine all the way down there in Canada just joined us, and I want to say welcome. And I trust that that individual is enjoying their time. And so we're talking about crime, drugs, violence, the young people. What do we do? Are there any solutions? I don't want to call no one name. And for those who have spoken before, if you so desire, you can come back and share. What do we do? Our part I'm talking about, we recognize that we must present Christ to them first, because the heart of man is deceitfully and desperately wicked, no doubt about it. And outside of Christ, like Jonah, we recognize outside of Christ, the only thing an individual can do is go down, down, down. And so what can we do as a society? What are you doing with your organization? What are you doing in terms of helping to share, to let's rescue the youth? You want to use that word? And from a human perspective, I'm talking now. Because I interacted with a number of young persons, and listen to me. This week, I can't say this week, last week, my heart dropped when I saw some of the young persons that were incarcerated. And I see them every week. and I'll see them again, I guess, Wednesday. You know, and I have a 15-year-old, and I really, really felt that because my last son is 15. But folks, what do? We present the gospel of Christ. And what else do we present to these young people? That some parent, young man, you know, caught up in the negative things of life. Do we just turn our hearts away and say, well, am I my brother's keeper? Or do we just say, hey, they my son, daddy, my daughter, my son, my nephew, you know? And I'm speaking specifically with men, because as you know, I've been in the male, the female, all sections of the prison. But the amount of young men I've seen up there, believe me, if you see it, and if you care, it'll hurt your heart. So it's an open line today. We have about another 19, 20 minutes. Anybody else have any solutions they want to share as you look at what's happening now today? Another 2 murders was reported. I'm wondering, just to stimulate the conversation, a number of persons are saying they ought to bring back the cat 9 tails and hang. Let me just throw it out there then. If we give people the cat 9 tail, if we start hanging, would that do anything? I'm open.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
I don't believe in the cat o' nine tails. I think that's barbaric. And I don't know if so much that type of punishment, because it reminds me of slavery, and it's too violent. I think there's other ways to just putting them away for a good while, but I don't know, seems psychologically wrong with administrating that as punishment. But in reference to the men and helping men, because so much things is, a lot of times young men get in their gangs, especially during these summer times. There's such a need for money. And that's not only for themselves, but for school and what have you, but also to take care of their families.
Right.
And I think things always comes back to the church for obvious reasons. But I think the church is such a factor in the community, as far as we're not even having that conversation, as far as sitting down amongst each other and saying, how do we help guide Johnny or Susie? How do we help them create a little business? Or this adult, can I use your shop to sell their product? Or how do I help this mother pay her light bill or what have you? Because when you're able to reach people and connect and help them with their physical needs, they're prone to listen to you and in a lot of cases hear the gospel. So we need to deal with that issue as far as providing for people's physical needs, or even have that conversation.
Okay.
And we're not having that in the church.
Yes.
And that's sad.
Okay. Well, I'd listen to see if anybody else want to comment. Because you said you don't believe in the cat 9 tail, and you talked about it being barbaric and all of that, which means that. But what do you say? Not only you, Raja, while I might be addressing you directly, yet the panelists, what do you say to people who say we need to hang them? They say because at least that's one individual will not kill again. What do we say in that case? And this is open not just to you, Raja. This is open to anybody else who say, well, they should not hang individuals. It's open.
I don't know. They mention, I guess God mentions about the law of the land and obeying, and I think there's follow the laws of the land, and some people believe in hanging. But I don't know, murder, I don't know if that's the answer. Let God deal with that person in judgment. When judgment comes, that's in my opinion.
Okay, no problem. we appreciate it because, you know, this is an open line. Anybody else want to comment as we talk about violence, we talk about crime, we talk about the fact that some people say the capital punishment should come. Others says that if we hang them, they say, well, at least that person won't kill no more. What do you say? And then we may need to just throw 3 trivias. I have 3 of these McDonald's voucher. I may need to throw these out because I realize our time is going. Anybody else want to make any comments about the barbaric, the capital punishment or the hanging? Anybody else? Go ahead.
I want to say, Elder Dave.
Yes.
God, Jesus said he's the same today,
yes,
tomorrow, and forevermore. And he said in his word, if you kill, murder, then you should also be murdered. You should also be murdered. That's one of his laws.
Okay.
And I believe that the cat nine tails should come back into place.
Okay.
When they get hit with the cat nine tail and they tell them the reason why they're beating them, they will go back out and they let them out. That mark will always be there. It's like Jacob with the limp. He always knew that limp represented to him. And so I believe that the criminal, once they get that cat nine tail, will always know that that cat nine tail came because I was pushing drugs. It came because I was stealing. It came because I raped. And when they ever try again, they will always feel that cut, that cat nine tail. And if you murder, I believe that you should be murdered as well by the gallows.
Okay, thank you, Bishop. And so as we talk about youth crime, violence, we talk about the fact that more than 50% of the individuals murdered for this year alone were persons out on bail, which tells us that there's a lot of this revenge killing, and that the Minister of National Security indicated that perhaps they're safer behind the prison bars. The Attorney General says we have to follow the law, and the law indicate that they are entitled to bail. So I just want to, again, open. Do you feel that the cat nine tail person should get it? Do you feel that hanging? If you wish to state your view openly, you can. If not, you can type it in the chat. And I know I said we got to throw some trivia questions. So I guess, and you can call us at 326-0271 for the trivia to win this trivia, or simply WhatsApp us at 433-6917. B-Docks, formerly known as Her Majesty's Prison. First person call us and tell us, what does B-Docks stand for? Give me the correct filling out of B-Docks. Simple as that, very easy. And that McDonald's voucher belongs to you. 326-0271, 326-0271. Call us, we'll give out one to somebody who called, and we'll give out one to the first person who WhatsApp me. B-Docks, it was formerly known as Her Majesty's Prison. Tell me, what does it stand for? And the McDonald's voucher is yours. And so while we're waiting on the call, 326-0271, 326-0271, 326-0271, 433-6917. And while we're waiting on that, what are your views as we talk about, you got to call in, okay? 326-0271, what's up, 433-6917. And so as I wait on that person to call or text me, we're also asking the question about capital punishment, hanging, about youth, about violence. What do we do? We have about 10 minutes left on this program today. What do we do as a society? Are we turning our nose and saying, am I my brother's keeper? Or like Bishop said, and Pastor Williams talked about somebody taking these young boys and going and taking them to get their hair cut. What do we do? And another person may say, well, you forced my child. What do we do as we address this situation today? Let me share something with you folks, and I don't know if somebody else can comment on this. I mentioned this. I was 21 years old at the Bahamas Electricity Corporation. Okay, I see. Go ahead. Full foot roll. You have a comment? Go ahead. Unmute your mic and comment.
Good afternoon, everyone. I was listening to the discussion, and I don't think that the cabinet takes the actual thing by because it somehow a child or an infant. Pardon me?
Can you
somehow
can you move closer to your internet? You're actually coming in and out, but go ahead.
Okay. Okay, just give me a minute.
Okay, so just come back in when you're ready. As I was saying, I was a young man, 21 years old, to BEC. The idea was floated by the former Sir Lyndon Pinlin of National Youth Service. I can remember one of my co-workers who was older than me then. I think the age was 35. And he said to me, oh, that's for y'all young people. Y'all going in Pinlin Army. Now, I didn't understand everything that was happening then. But I can tell you one thing. I believe that if we'd have joined what they called the Pinlin Army at that time, this country would have been more disciplined and we would have been in a better situation. And as a result of all this negative criticism, the idea dropped. And now when we look at what we have today, I believe National Youth Service would have been one of the best things that happened. But go ahead, full foot roll. At any point, go ahead. Come in.
Okay. I hope you can hear me now.
Yes.
Okay, I said I don't think that is an essential ingredient to stop the violence in our nation. Some young men, when you control eat more violent, and some men, they behavior. Sometimes they don't have they do it because of lack of love in the times they hang off people like in behavior that love might be from them for they more, but understand
you now I must admit you were kind of coming in and out, but I think if I understand based on what I could have said, you were saying you're thinking that's not the solution or the answers. And I think you mentioned something about love. Am I correct in that? Okay, I think she's having a little challenge with the internet. So I just want to welcome those of you joining us. Once again, I say a special shout out to a number of persons who tune in regular on the radio. I don't want to call no names because I forget the names, and who listen either by the radio or also via the cable TV 974. Sorry, I can't go to Facebook because it's just me one today. Jackie have a situation she's taken care of. And so today we're talking about youth crime, violence. We touch a little about capital punishment. We touch a little about hanging, the cat-nine tail. Some were for, some were against. We talked about the fact that how we must have an influence with our young people and not turn up our nose and say, well, I'm not my brother's keeper. You know, remember Cain said that those famous words. We talked about how all of us must use our influence. And we're celebrating on that person. I see a number of WhatsApp coming in. Call us and tell us the name of the prison. What does it stand for? BDOCS. I want somebody on the line to call me, 326-0271. BDOCS. It was formerly known as Her Majesty's Prison. We already have some answers come in by WhatsApp, but we're looking for someone to call us live. 326-0271, 326-0271. And in this day and age, you go to Google, what does BDOCS actually stand for? It formerly was Her Majesty's Prison. And so yesterday we're talking about crime, we're talking about violence, about the young people, the influence factor. My brother, Pastor Williams, talked about how the young men in Eleuthera did not want to go, but somebody was well known, took them, put them on a boat, took them over to Bryland, let them get their hair cut and brought them back. Bishop Bradford talked about the crime. Dr. Macmillan talked about how, as a result of his relatives Bishop Brathwaite stayed with, and they had an influence. Bishop Brathwaite also talked about taking down the basketball court and told the young men, stop cursing, using foul language, or else he'll take the court down. And he shared how today, as a result of it, they were influenced. And so I just want to say to you, I agree. Young people want to be reached out. I've known it being in the streets, and I'm inviting you, if you just join us this coming Saturday, we'll be by the park on Dumping Grand Corner, International Men's Day Bahamas Committee in partnership with the police. So no need to fear. We will be feeding the young men. We'll give them some pizza. We'll have drinks. They have Wi-Fi on the courts also. And we want to sit down, play a little dominoes, you know, a little backgammon, little chess. And so this is our way of mentoring with the young men. And so we've targeted Dumping Grand Corner, the park and Dumping Grand Corner. They just installed Wi-Fi there yesterday. And this is our chance. We're going to go into the community Wednesday evening, 6 o'clock, inviting the young men and the young ladies out. Also want to tell you, International Men's Day, we're planning a march for the 24th of next month. We're going to leave Christie Park and return there. We're partnership with BTVI to set up some tables to try and get our young men involved in BTVI. And so we're just saying, all of us must do our part, encouraging our young men. You know, we can't just allow them to just go to, the young people would say, to hell in a handbasket. So I want to just welcome those of you on the Zoom. I won't call nobody's name. Thanks for joining us. I appreciate the fact that you join us. We have a couple minutes before we sign off. I'm just waiting. If there's one person want to call in, 326-0271. We'll only be going until 5. If not, I'm just going to ask if anybody else want to share final comments before we sign off on the program Transforming Lives on Global 99.5, Cable TV 974. You can always go back and watch the show on Facebook, Transforming Lives, or Uplifting Men, or David Williams page, MG Rebirth page. I got a phone call, or you can simply go on YouTube channel, Transforming Lives Radio Show. Let's see if we get a winner. I want to give away this McDonald's voucher to someone who wish to. So we're going to take that call now, live. Hello, welcome to the program Transforming Lives. Sorry, what did you say? Right. They call the prison B-Docs. It's short. What does B-Docs actually mean? No, the prison, they call it B-Docs, right? But that B-Docs is an acronym. I think they would use it for. What does it mean, B-Docs? What does it stand for? You were actually close, so I'll tell you it. You want me to tell you what it stands for? Bahamas Department of Correctional Services, B-Docs. But if this is my good friend, I know you'll want me pass that voucher on to somebody. I correct, right? Yes. Thanks for participating and thanks for listening in. Okay. Okay. Blessings. We'll talk later. Okay. All right. So, folks, yes, I see Gigi. You have a hand. Go ahead, Gigi. Go ahead, Gigi.
Good evening. My hand was up a that answer a while ago. Thanks. Beat up information.
Oh, you're not clear. You're saying something?
I was saying that I sent the B-Docs in a while.
Yes, I saw it on WhatsApp. I got it on WhatsApp. I was just trying to get somebody on the live line. Okay, thanks very much. So, folks, I just want to thank you for tuning into this program, Transforming Lives on Global 99.5. This is a program where we seek to share information about how lives are being transformed. And we recognize that the greatest transformation that can take place comes through a relationship with Christ. Not a church, not a denomination, but a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. who alone gives you and I eternal life. I want to end this program by offering my condolences to the family of Sister Terry Minus. She's being funeralized tomorrow at the Golden Gates Assembly Church, 11 a.m. I intend to be there. She volunteered with us at Prison Fellowship Bahamas. Many of you would know her. She's always on talk shows. She was not ashamed to voice her opinion. So she's well known at forums. That's Terry Minus, 11 a.m. at Golden Gates World Assembly Church. And so I offer my condolences to the family. I will be here tomorrow to join the Prison Fellowship Bahamas. Okay. Also, folks, I just want to say to you next week, don't forget, Saturday coming, we will be at the Dump and Grand Corner Park as we seek to work along with the young men in the Bain and Town area, 6 p.m. If you wish information, 433-6917. We will be giving some pizza, something to drink, and we'll sit down and play some dominoes. And it's our way as men of interacting with the young men. Bring the boys out. Someone said to give to this person, Shelly Boleg, to give her the gift that they won. Thanks, I will give it to her. And so we're inviting you to come down. If you have some young men who wish to be a part of it, contact me at 433-6917. I will see that they get at the park as we sit down, play some dominoes, interact with them, and we will feed them. You've been listening to Transforming Lives, Global 99.5. We're here every Sunday, 4 to 5. Thank you for taking the opportunity to be a part of the program. Whether you're on Zoom, whether you're on Facebook, whether you're on YouTube, whether you are on whatever it means. Special hello to a friend of mine all the way joining us down there in Canada. I appreciate that they took the time to listen to us. Folks, Dave Williams, Jackie Gardner's not here today. Transforming Lives on Global 99.5, Cable TV 974. Thank you and have a wonderful afternoon.